Hey, welcome back. After a terrible market reaction for a couple of years that we see with a majority of pandemic IPOs, SoFi pretty much doubled in just a couple of months. Now, with the company finally becoming profitable and expecting quite significant growth ahead in a better environment, let's see if this is still an opportunity. We see pretty much everything growing exceptionally well, with a 54% growth in revenue last year. And maybe just as impressive, they delivered a 53% compound annual growth rate in members from 2020. So this wasn't just a pandemic stay-at-home hype platform that died, and it's now adding record amounts of members every year, reaching 10 million a year ago from like a million at the beginning of 2020. What's also important about Galileo, the tech platform that they bought in 2020, is that this one is not really fintech like SoFi itself, but rather the infrastructure that enables the rise of fintech. In a lower rate environment, we could see more demand and investments from fintech service providers, meaning even more potential for SoFi overall. So that's basically a way to make money from competitors like Robinhood and Chime, allowing them to develop SoFi and make it more competitive as well. Now, we don't really know how much they can make in any environment because it's still a developing business. However, they just had their first year of profit, and as a note, in this case, because they are basically a developing bank and they get deposits and stuff, I think the net income is more relevant than the cash flow, so we'll use that in the valuation. And another note, this company actually had insanely good growth numbers and pretty much 5x'd the revenue since 2020. If you look at Palantir, which the market loves and I covered recently, they barely did half of that, but sure, different businesses and very different margins, but also like 15 times higher valuation. But at the same time, if you look at StoneCo, which is similar to SoFi but in Brazil, they have pretty much the same revenue but already a higher profit on like a fifth of the market cap. So how cheap is it after the price basically tripled in a couple of years but also facing an improving environment? We'll see. Financially, we see a very good position with around 2.5 billion in cash and overall more assets than liabilities. We see a 6.5 billion equity, which grew pretty well, on a 16 billion market cap. What we see is basically the bank itself, and all the digital assets like the apps or platforms that are worth billions aren't really here, except for the 1.7 billion in goodwill and intangibles. For a buyer, this could be worth maybe another 10-20 billion, so it could justify the difference. About a year ago when I looked into them, the equity wasn't very far from the market cap though, so it was definitely quite interesting. I didn't buy back then because I think I wanted something around 5 for a better margin of safety, so definitely a missed opportunity, but let's see if they still offer one. They also repaid a lot of debt, and the 3 billion they have now is pretty much covered by the cash, so they are overall in good financial shape. As you can imagine, when the company isn't profitable, they need some way to get capital if they don't want to use the cash on the balance sheet, and in this case they went for issuing some shares. Some of that went into stock-based compensation, by the way. We see them growing the number by over 10% from 2023 to 24, which is quite a bit and not at such a good level. Now, however, it's starting to get better, and issuing let's say 10% again can get them quite a ton of money. For a reference, that would basically buy another Galileo, and they did a bunch of acquisitions in the past half a decade. So a higher stock price can actually mean more growth for a company that's such an active buyer. Now, a very significant issue in fintech in general is the competition. You have big banks, tech like Alphabet or Apple, who are already into fintech to some degree, and when you see 50-60% compound annual growth rate over and over and maybe even significant profits, that attracts even more people. When a player with infinite money in comparison like a bank or big tech gets in, you can have very big issues. On the other hand, they could also buy and develop their way into the industry, and SoFi could be the target. So I think it's more of a risk overall, but we can't ignore the potential upside. But at the same time, there is also potential for an international expansion. Again, if you look at StoneCo, that's like a 20% dilution to basically double the revenue, not to mention the exposure to a high potential country like Brazil. So if they keep up the $500 million to 1, maybe even 2 billion per year in acquisitions, this company can really shine, and there are plenty of potential targets. Again, South America, SEA, maybe even Europe, there is more than they can possibly buy. Now, recently, probably in anticipation of a better environment, they launched some benefits for investing, financial planning, and even $1,000 for closing home loans. But of course, the market focuses on the next 1-2 quarters, and since the guidance wasn't as good as expected, the stock fell a bit. But if you look into it, the guidance itself was actually very good. 28% increase in members, 23 to 26% growth in revenue, 9-10% in net income on a 20% margin, so not bad. Again, it's a matter of the market's expectations, and this is why I think getting it at something like 5 could have been very attractive. A year ago, this year's net income could have meant a price to earnings ratio of like 20, which is generally low for such a high growth tech company. Now let's see a valuation. In a bad scenario, assuming they struggle to make a profit due to competition, let's say they remain at 200 million per year. Say the ratio is at 15 to assume some market confidence, because this can be possible while increasing the revenue, but also disappointment, meaning a market cap of 3 billion. That's a price of 2.74, meaning a very significant loss. Obviously, the market is pricing in growth and higher profits, not valuing them based on what they can do now. A majority of growth stocks would look terribly valued at what they can make now, so such a result would of course be horrible. Ultimately, you can make a ton of revenue, but it's normal if you sell $1 for 50 cents, let's say, but you have to make a profit eventually. Sure, then they would be worth half the equity, so a buyer might easily be interested, so I don't think they could stay at such a level for long. This is why I said something like 5 could have been very good, because it was like a very likely bottom thanks to the balance sheet and potential to be bought. In a second scenario, let's assume they manage to grow at 15% per year, maintaining the current margin. That's a revenue of 5.24 billion in half a decade, meaning a profit of around 471 million. For a ratio of 25 to show some confidence but nothing too crazy, that's a market cap of 11.78 billion, meaning a price of 10.76. That would be a loss of around 30%. But a better margin or maybe some buybacks could even get you to the current price, so it's not that terrible, but also not what I want to see from a second scenario. In a better environment, let's say they manage to grow at 20% per year, which isn't even much for SoFi. That's 6.48 billion in revenue in half a decade, meaning around 778 million in net income on a 12% margin. For a ratio of 30, assuming that they slow down a bit in the later years, we get to a market cap of 23.34 billion. That's a price of 21.32, meaning a profit of around 40%. But at the same time, they would afford to pay dividends and buybacks, so we could see maybe even a 2x. That's not terrible, and it definitely has potential for more, especially with an international expansion, but it's no longer that amazing. Again, at 6-7, not even a year ago, it was a very different story, and even if it can do anything in the short term, I don't think it's that good for a long-term investment at this price. But it remains on my watch list, and I'll pay attention to it. So overall, this is all about what they can achieve. The company developed phenomenally and is very healthy, but now the real test is profitability. Even if they slow down the growth, despite the environment likely improving in the future, if they ramp up the profitability and deliver $500 million or even $1 billion in the long term, there should be plenty of room to go up. I think it was getting into a potential buy territory a year ago, but now I'm not so sure. The issue is that this industry can be very competitive and massive banks can always focus on this and really shake up the market. At the same time, potential competition with very deep pockets that wants to join the market can also mean an acquisition, so maybe not that bad. By the way, there are many other pandemic IPOs that are in a similar position to them a couple of years ago, so let me know if you want me to look into them as well. As always, what I cover in my videos shouldn't be enough for you to make any investment decision, so please do your own research before investing in anything. If you want to see more videos like this one, please leave a like and even a comment to help me out, and make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.